What's going on, everybody? So I'm going to answer all of your questions in this video. In particular, one question asked for contact information from one of the recruiters here at night. So what I did was asked all the recruiters to send me a copy of their business card. So at the end of this video, all the ones that sent me a copy of their business card, I'm going to put it out there for you. Now mind you, some recruiters are for the reefer division, some are for dry van, and some are for port services. But at least you'll have a point of contact, and it's got their direct line on it, so that you can reach out to them directly. Now, I highly recommend that if you are very interested in coming tonight, whether it's refrigerated, dry van, or port, that you fill out the application first before you call the recruiter. That way, you know, they can see your information, and you they can ask you questions, and vice versa. But if you just want information, such as pay or anything like that, feel free to give them a call and ask away. I mean, most of them I've met in person, so I can tell you that they're all really solid people. You know, so, and we'll say, I'll say hi to a few of them. I'll just say hi to Chad, Bree, Brian, Jesse. Let's see, who else should we say hi to? Say what's up to Glenn, to Ashley, to Sherry, Jackie, Todd, and who else? Let me think, and Forrest. But most of those people I've all met in person and got to shake their hand and talk to them for a couple minutes, or at least, you know, introduce myself, or for them to introduce themselves to me. But anyways, the reason why you're here first is questions and answers. So the first question was, how do you get rid of the fear when you first start trucking? And believe it or not, it's actually a pretty common question, but it goes away with time. The more you do the job, the more you become comfortable with it, but you cannot allow yourself to become complacent, if you get what I mean. You always want to keep safety in mind, always, you know, constantly checking your mirrors and things like that. So always keep that in mind. You don't want to become complacent, but you do want to allow yourself to become comfortable, if that makes sense. But it takes time. It takes, you know, having a good trainer. It takes, you know, having friends that have done the job before, friends in the business. So, you know, you'll kind of get more familiar with it. And the more familiar you get with trucking, the more comfortable you come, and the less fear you have. The next question, what do I use to cook in my truck? I use two things. I have a digital cooker, which is kind of like I guess you could say it's kind of like an oven. You can put things in it, and it heats it up like an oven does. It's not like a microwave. It's not extremely fast, but it does work really good. And I also use a crock pot. I have a little tiny one that I plug into an inverter, and a 300-watt inverter, and I use it to warm up water or soup, things like that. The digital cooker you can use for poultry or meat. Some guys get really creative with it, and I know there's a lot of guys out there that will put videos on of what they've made, or post pictures online, and kind of like how-to things. The best state to be a driver. I don't know. I would say all states have their pros and cons. The state I like to visit the most is probably Texas. I really like Texas for some reason. I don't know, I guess in my mind it's more truck friendly. Some drivers don't like Texas at all. But I will say the common consensus is that mostly everybody wants to not be in California as much. But that's just because it's 55 miles an hour out here. And I mean that's the only real problem with California, the lower speed limit. But the West Coast is awesome. I run I-5 corridor through California, Oregon, and Washington all the time, and you get used to it. And I mean, it's not that bad. It's always warm, so I mean, there's a plus. But definitely for me, Texas. If you're a driver and you're watching this video, comment on your favorite state to run in. and let everybody know. Let's see. My top 5 favorite shippers. Starbucks, for sure. I love picking up at Starbucks because all the Starbucks that I've been to, their warehouses or DCs or distribution centers or whatever, they normally have a coffee mess set up where you can go in and fill up your thermos and get free Starbucks coffee. So that's definitely on my top 5. Let's see, who's another good one that I like? Anywhere that's a drop-in hook for me is definitely a bonus. Sears and Kmart are really good. IKEA, I like IKEA. Let's see, that's 3, maybe 4. Home Depot is really good, and by far my favorite is Starbucks, though, because I'm a coffee guy. I really love coffee. Man, I'm trying to think. I'm drawing a blank. I would say Macy's. I'm hooked to a Macy's load right now, and so I mean they're dropping hooks. They're light loads, so you know, when you're dragging them north through the hills and stuff, you're not really chugging too much. But I mean, mostly I would say all the customers that Knight has, I mean, the majority of them are very professional, and they're always on time, having things ready for you when you get there, because you know the driver's enemy is time. We're always fighting the clock, so it's always nice when you have shippers and receivers, for that matter, that you know, get you in on your appointment times and things, and the company works a lot to make sure that that happens too. So yeah, Starbucks. Okay, somebody asked me about driving the mountains and big grades. Like I guess they mean like when you're new. Mountain driving and big grades. I do a lot out here on the West Coast. You have some really big hills out here. I mean, I guess technically wherever you go, there's always going to be that one road that challenges you more than any other, whether it's a steep grade or a windy road or whatever. You know, there's always going to be that one. And you just have to remember everything that you were taught, and you always have to remember that safety is number one. You can't relax, you know, your grip on safety. Don't ever give into that, and don't let anyone ever tell you to hurry up to get down a hill or through a windy road. Always take your time, and it also depends, you know, the speed that you use on hills. Always follow the speed limits or suggested speed limits, and stay really close to those, because they're in place to keep you safe. You'll see a lot of videos of guys, you know, hauling butt down a hill or whatever. And as much as every driver out here knows that they would love to go faster, because, you know, the more miles you cover, the more money you make, you want to make sure you get there. So you got to do it safely. And it depends on the load as well. So, I mean, like here at night, going south on I-5, coming out of Washington and Oregon, we usually have a lot of heavy freight. You know, we have really tall paper rolls or wood, different things like that. And so you're really sluggish going up the hills. And, you know, like wood, a lot of the weight is on the floor of the trailer. So the trailer tipping over and things like that is always a concern. But, you know, with certain loads, it's not as much as a concern as in you know, like paper rolls or big panes of glass, where it's top heavy to start with. So you just always got to remember your training. And, you know, like I said, kind of with the fear question, it comes down to the more you do it, the less fearful you become, and you become more comfortable at your job and handling the equipment. But when it all comes down to it, you just want to do it safely. But and then someone asked, could you give me information on Dallas, Texas, and everything? But for recruiter information, And I'm going to post his business card on here. His name's Brian Stone. Stellar guy. Met him not too long ago. So definitely hit Brian up if you're in the Dallas area, down that way, Texas. All of our recruiters are stand-up individuals. Whether it's a dry van recruiter, a reefer recruiter, a port recruiter, they're all stand-up individuals. And I can tell you that you hear a lot of horror stories from the drivers at different companies saying that their recruiter lied to them, or that they embellished. You know, basically, you know, you feel like you were sold a lemon at the used car dealership. But the recruiters at night are different. They're a different breed of recruiter. They're very professional. They tell you like it is. They're not going to sugarcoat things for you or embellish to make you get in the driver's seat, because night wants qualified, safe, professional, like caring, helpful, team-oriented people. And the job of a recruiter is really tough, because sometimes you might have somebody that wants to drive so bad and is a really good driver, but I mean, these people have to tell them like, hey, we can't hire you because of this or whatever. So cut recruiters a break, people. And I do know that here at night they don't get a bonus, or I guess you call it a commission or whatever, for every driver that they hire, like most companies do. So I mean, keep that in mind. Whether you get hired or not, there's no incentive for them to lie to you. So they're going to tell you the truth. So no matter where you're at in the country, you can get online. You can go to drivenight.com and fill out the application and call a recruiter. And I'm going to put some of their business cards at the end of this video, so that you can hit them up directly. And some of them deal with different areas, but you can call any one of the numbers and they can get you in touch with the right person. But like I said, they're all stellar people. They all have really good hearts, and they're all really intelligent individuals. So to all my friends that are recruiters, hello. Hello, hello. I have a cookie. I'm going to eat my cookie.